Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Honey Jam Pod. We are your hosts, Jessica.
And Janice.
And we have a very special guest today.
Yo, what's up, peeps?
Janice, you want to kind of give our, listeners a little introduction?
Yes, I'm very excited about this guest. She is a nurse by day, a momfluencer by night. She juggles working as a nurse, like I said, influencing, but also studying more to further her career. And I mentioned this before, but she's actually the person that really kind of pushed me to force Honey Jam to happen.
Yeah.
Like force Jess
We
to
gave her a
join
shout out
this.
in our early episode.
Yeah.
Honestly,
And
that
so-
blows my mind.
Yeah,
that I did that.
No, really though. And we'll go into it more.
Okay.
But
'Cause that's
without
crazy.
further ado, we would like to introduce Grace Ryu.
Hello, people. My name is Grace Ryu, Mama G.
Well, yes.
Her handle is
Oh, yeah.
Mama G, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My handle is Mama G, but I've had that nickname for a very, very long time.
That's
where,
true.
Where does that come from, Mama G?
It was like, I felt like you guys were going to ask me this, but it's like a self-made...
Nickname?
It's a self-made nickname that I gave myself in high school.
Oh, in high school.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it because you're nurturing kind of?
I
vibe?
think it came about when I was in ASB.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I was very like the motherly figure in ASB. So literally everyone started calling me Mama G.
Uh-huh.
And then once Instagram kind of came up and all that, I just changed, or I just always had my handle be Mama G.
Mama G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then now everyone calls me Mama G.
Uh-huh.
And it works because you're a momfluencer.
Well, now it works
Yeah.
because but even before then,
Yeah.
I
You
were
didn't have a
always
kid. I was
Mama.
always Mama G.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was just kind of crazy. So I never had to change my handle.
Yeah,
which
but
is great.
But then Grace is also very talented in that, she's a nurse, she's a mom, she's a momfluencer. And then even before this, she was doing makeup, hair
Oh
and
yeah,
makeup.
very creative, good with your
Yes.
hands.
Yes.
And she was there at my wedding
Yes.
doing all
That's
the
right.
bridesmaids makeup. So she's very talented.
that was years ago.
I know. And she
Yeah.
did my makeup when I was doing my shower and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
But you had a separate account for hair beauty, right?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that my guy friends did not want to follow me on
Ah.
that. Yeah. And plus that was a business at the time. So
Yes. So
I
that
just-
was Grace Star Beauty.
Yes. And I still am.
Grace is our first influencer guest.
Oh, yes.
With a very big following
well,
on
David.
Instagram. Of
David
course.
too.
Oh, that's true, David. But then Grace started before David.
Yes,
And
yeah.
so it is our honor to have you on our podcast. Grace.
For sure, yeah.
I don't think of myself like that, but it's great.
Yeah.
And for
Cool.
the people who aren't familiar with your
Yes.
content, do you want to introduce what your content is about?
Okay, so this is such a hard question because I feel like I don't have a niche per se. I guess you can call me a mommy influencer, but I feel like I don't always just post mommy stuff. I do a lot of dancing videos.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
that's
because
right.
that's
yes. Grace
that's
is a great dancer.
that's my whatchamacallit,
Outlet?
yes, just something I need to do because my job is so serious. So it just takes the edge off the seriousness of my job. So that's an outlet for me. I do I don't know, I make cooking videos sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They're not great because I don't consider myself a good cook, but I make easy meals.
Yes.
You know, great for a family,
Yeah.
things like that.
And that's what everyone needs.
Yeah.
So those things I'll share, but I don't do it all the time. I do makeup, beauty content
yeah.
because I still really love beauty,
Yeah.
beauty products, hair, tricks and tips. I still love it a lot. Okay, honestly, in the process of doing hair and makeup, it's really stressful, but it's the after feeling of it. I think I'm just someone that feels rewarded when I make someone feel good
Aw.
or helping someone. I think
Yeah.
that's just my drive,
Yeah.
if you want to say. But there's just not enough time in the
Yeah.
world. So yeah, I do that. What else do I put on
You
there?
do a lot of stuff, but
I do, yeah. I just post whatever the heck I want, basically.
It's like a lifestyle kind
Yeah.
of.
So yeah, that's what my sister was saying because I was like, "What am I?" And she's like, "I think you're a lifestyle." But so I was like, "I'm not aesthetic. I wish I was an aesthetic girly, but I'm not. I look like crap all the time."
What?
Well, I just post my life, whatever.
I think you're just authentic.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
I
whatever's
see.
going on in my life. That's what I like to post.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I like posting couples things too.
Yeah, yeah.
with me and Mike, or yeah, because we're so different.
That's
Yeah.
true. It's
I
like
mean,
a variety.
It's like you
of
and David,
things.
like you guys are so different.
Yeah.
Actually, you and Josh are pretty different
Oh
too.
yeah.
So just like highlighting just like another day in our life.
Mm-hmm,
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, but wait, I just a side note and kind of a random note. You know how you mentioned like cooking videos? There was one video where she uploaded like a pasta recipe.
Yeah.
Where you just get like, pasta sauce and make like a rosé
Yeah.
pasta, right? But then she puts a little bit of the pasta water in the jar.
Uh-huh.
She mixes it so that she doesn't waste the sauce in the jar. And I don't know why that was so mind blowing to
Oh.
me. because
Really?
Every time I like finish the jar,
Yeah.
there's like some sauce in it. And I
Yeah.
always thought it was so 아까워 to throw it away.
Uh-huh.
But after I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh,
Genius.
that's
Yeah.
genius. And I started doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like it makes me feel so much better, like
Yeah.
doing that and then throwing it away.
Yeah.
Dude,
you
my
know?
mom did that.
Oh,
Yeah, my mom is like, like I think that generation is do not waste anything.
Yes, so
yeah,
frugal.
so
Yes.
frugal
Yeah.
with everything. So I've kind of like learned that. I've always seen her do that. I thought it was like a normal thing.
Yeah, and then see like little videos like that, it influenced me to
Yeah.
like change how I drain my pasta
Yeah.
and like all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
I
interesting.
think like you definitely have those tips and tricks, and I've definitely followed a recipe before. I think it was maybe pasta too, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's like you want like something really simple and easy to cook.
Yeah.
But I feel like the content that did like kind of blew up was like focused mainly on Aiden, your son, right? And then also like your family,
Yeah.
including your dad, right?
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see, it's not just like momfluencer content,
Yeah.
like you said. It's like everything. And
Yeah.
I feel like as moms, right, you can feel very stuck in that mom role and like lose your own identity. But I feel like
Yeah.
Grace does a really good job of, introducing like her life to, everyone outside of baby too,
Yes.
whether
Yeah.
it's like in the hospital and making like silly dancing videos or,
Yeah. That's like such a compliment. Thank you. Like I never like some people like dream of being a mom. Like obviously I dream of being a mom, but I've always been a career woman. Like I had very big dreams and very big goals, and I've always kind of like went with it, like
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah.
I never wanted like a baby to slow me down or anything. Not that Aiden does.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't slow me down. If anything, he pushes me even harder. Like me going to school now was because of him. But I just feel like, I don't know. I just want to do it all.
Yeah.
And that's a blessing, and it's also a very much of a curse. Okay. So it's not like I can't do just like one thing. Yeah. So it's tiring. But
Yeah. I mean, I think just to talk about this again, right? Like when I before I saw your content, I was just kind of like living like the same like 9 to 5, and then after just like watching shows on Netflix, and like there was a time when it was just getting really old, and I was just kind of like stuck in that routine, and like it's like I don't have a baby, so life just felt kind of slow, but I felt like I couldn't really do anything about it. And then I saw Grace's like content, and I just saw how like how busy her life was. Like your life is so full, because I think like taking care of a kid in itself, it's so much work, but like you on top of that, you're like working, not just like a chill job either. You're like saving lives in the hospital, coming home, and like even like editing videos, like the simplest reels, it takes
lot of work.
time,
Yeah.
And like for me to like, I try to be a little bit more consistent about uploading videos and stuff like that, just for fun even.
Yeah.
But like I'm like burnt out because I have Honey Jam, and so
Yeah.
I stopped doing that. But I go on TikTok and I always see Grace's content. I always see Grace's sister Tiffany's content.
Shout out Tiff.
Shout out Tiff.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
She told me not to give her a shout out, but I'm going to do it.
Why? We actually wanted Tiff to be here.
Yeah.
So Tiff, we miss you. Maybe
We
next
miss you.
time.
Yeah,
Next time, yeah.
But so seeing that, I was like, dude, I can not complain about any. Like, I have no excuse
Yeah.
not to start something. Like, because I feel like I've always had a creative, drive. Like, I want to
Yeah.
do something fun,
Yeah.
but like I was so lazy about
Yeah.
it. But then, really, Grace, you're like the first person that I saw, and I was like, wow, if she can do all of this, I can just add one new project
Yeah.
into my life.
Yeah,
And
and
that's,
then that's
how
how
Honey
Honey
Jam came about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so proud of you guys.
Aw,
like when you guys when I think Jess told me at church that you like gave me a shout out. I was like, oh my god, like what did I do? Like because I don't talk to you as much as I talk
Right,
to Jess because
yeah.
we're like we go to the same church and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, that's like so cool. Like thanks so much. I wasn't trying to like do that, but it makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing something good in this.
Yeah.
You know? So thank
For
you so
sure.
much. Yeah.
But
This is
I
very
do
great.
want to ask, like, I know, like, because, you know, Grace and I we go to the same church, and we also used to be part of like the same community group, so we used to meet with each other every week. Grace had like a pretty rough postpartum time. So this was like before your influencer days,
Yeah.
right? I just kind of wanted to delve into that a little bit, because I feel
Yeah.
like you can like shed light into that.
Yeah.
And how it was. I just remember like you struggling a lot as like a first time mom.
A lot. Oh. I struggled a lot.
Massively.
Aiden, Grace's son, and Hui, Jess's son, they're actually only a couple
3 weeks.
weeks
3 weeks apart.
3 weeks apart.
Yes, and they're homies.
Wow.
Yeah, they're womb buddies.
Womb buddies.
Yeah,
We call them womb
womb buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Zachy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, how was your like postpartum days? Like,
Well, I'll be very real because that's me. I'm real.
Yeah.
Is that it was rough.
Yeah.
Like it was so bad. Yeah. I like when I talk to other moms, like I just felt different. Like, okay, why didn't you feel like that? You know, that type of thing. But I mean, okay, being a nurse, right? Like you learn about all this, like postpartum blues, postpartum depression. I've had patients with like postpartum psychosis. So like they go crazy.
That's
you
like
know?
the worst.
That's
one.
like the
Past
worst.
depression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that? It's like where you're
Where you just go crazy. Like your hormones.
like you're seeing things and stuff like that.
that could happen.
Or like intrusive thoughts, and you act on it.
You act on it.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
see.
oh, what if I strangle my baby
I
or something?
see.
Like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, obviously, I wasn't at that point, but I would say, and I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. I actually had depression in pregnancy as well.
Really?
Yes. So I actually went off on maternity leave early at 32 weeks because I went to my doctor's appointment, and I remember feeling like crap, you know. And my doctor was straight up like, "How you doing?" And I go, and I was like crying, and then
Because you were not okay.
I was just not
Yeah.
okay. Like something shifts, like your body, like as your body is changing, your hormones change. And so it just changes the way you think. And like you don't feel like yourself.
Yeah.
I definitely did not feel like myself. So those shifts, like, and it's your first time feeling those things, like, yeah, I just did not feel good.
Yeah.
So she took me off on mat leave early, and I started therapy, which helped a lot, you know. So then that happened. So then after I had the baby, my biggest thing was I just thought Aiden was gonna die every day.
Like that you couldn't take care of him, or
It's like he was gonna die. Like if I left him alone, or if he slept, like he was gonna die in his sleep or something. So I did
like
not
that anxiety.
the anxiety. So I could not sleep. I did not sleep like during that couple weeks. And then anything like Mike will say or anyone, like little comments would put me over the edge. So then I would just start crying. And those are all hormones. Like those are chemical imbalances that like happen after a baby comes, and like it'll normalize later. So that I had that. So like the rage and the depression was just like, you just don't feel like yourself because you're like breastfeeding. That's a whole nother beast, right?
Yeah.
Breastfeeding is like insane. Like some people have such a hard time. Like Aiden did not latch, so then I pumped. So that's like a whole new thing that you're learning. It wasn't until like, so I went to my 6-week postpartum appointment, and then you do that like Edinburgh postpartum to like scale,
like a survey.
to see how you're scoring. I mean, I scored low, obviously. And when I talked to the nurse practitioner at the time, I was crying. She's like, "How is it going?" I was like, honestly, like I just said it like real. Like I don't feel like myself. I'm not sleeping. I feel like I don't have help. At the time, I didn't have help because my mom was still working, and like I feel like my marriage is falling apart because of this baby. Like I just don't know. And then, so she was like, I'm gonna prescribe you some antidepressants. You can take it or go to therapy, but you have to do one of them or both. So I was like, okay. And then in my head, I'm like, I don't have time to freaking go to therapy. So I actually kind of like brushed it off.
Even the medicine.
Yeah, even the medicine, because there's such a I know I'm a nurse, but like there is a stigma,
Especially in like the Asian.
yes, like
community,
there's just like a stigma around
Yeah.
taking medication,
Yeah.
especially when you're breastfeeding. So I really didn't want to be on any medication, but which was funny because I was on a lot of meds during pregnancy because I had such bad nausea. But anyways, yeah. But I had like one really bad fight with Mike. Like he could not take my psychoness anymore. He was like, I've like everything he was saying was so true. Like he said, like our marriage will fall apart if I continue this, and I believe. And it was so true, you know. And
like
I was,
if you didn't change something.
if I didn't change something, and he was like, "You like Aiden's gonna be okay. You need to stop like hovering, and like you need to stop feeling anxious. Like we are doing a good job."
Yeah.
And and yeah, I know. Like, but I mean, I could say that now, but like back then it was like,
like
shut up, shut up. Like
You don't
everything was a
understand.
hot
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
But then ever since then, I was like, for myself, for my relationship, for Aiden, I need to do something about this. And so that's when I started taking antidepressants.
Wow.
Yeah, and I haven't been off since.
Wow. Oh, so you're still taking
Still
them.
taking it because I actually went to the doctors after COVID. So you guys know, like, I was a nurse throughout COVID and I was working like 5 days a
Yes,
week.
I remember that.
People were dying left and right. So I think I had PTSD. And I was like, I was struggling a lot. So I actually went to therapy around then. And the doctor also said, maybe you should take meds. I said no because I was trying to have a baby at the time. But now I'm like, why didn't I start it sooner?
Because it's like you can feel the change.
Yes.
Wow.
Like I used to go through like these seasonal depressions, like just some really low lows. It's like really hard for me to come out of, which I know people think it's crazy because they look at me and they're like, you're like the happiest person ever.
I would have never guessed.
You would never guess because it's not like I'm on social media being like, I'm sad in bed. Like, you know, you don't do that.
Yeah.
But like, I used to go through that. And ever since I started taking them, I've never had that low feeling ever
Wow.
since.
Dang.
I know. So now I'm forever gonna be on Zoloft 50
Yeah.
milligrams. Zoloft, you can sponsor me. But like, yeah, I haven't been off of it since.
Dang.
I'm like so even more inspired. Like I mean, like just touched because
Yeah.
I didn't know this story
Yeah.
about you at all.
And the crazy thing is, this actually is what propelled me to content creating.
wow.
Yeah, it was because I was like, there's these things called wake windows for kids. So you have to keep them awake for a certain amount of time before their nap.
so they can sleep well.
Yeah.
No.
So you run out of things to do with your children, with your child, when they're that young,
Yeah.
right? So I used to just dance in front of Aiden.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just to like keep him awake for like 10 minutes longer.
Yeah.
Like we'll just put on a song and I'll dance. And then, so that's kind of how it, like, hashtag dancing with Mama G arise.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like how it came about. And then ever since then, I just kind of kept putting, I mean, it's not hard, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just like put a camera in front,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
doing whatever.
And Aiden dances with you too.
Well, now he does, yeah. Before he'd be like, what is mom doing? Yeah. But
Or even just like everyday life where you're trying to keep him awake in the car, like where
Yeah,
you're like
exactly.
the wheels on the bus.
I
That
know,
was like
and
one
that-
of your first viral,
Yeah.
Viral
videos,
videos,
right?
yeah.
which
where
is insane, but I get it. Like, it's so relatable. And even till
Yes.
now, like, new parents will come up to me and be like, I do that to my child. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, because we have to keep them awake for their nap. It's like so precious. Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
And just speaking of dancing though,
Yeah.
like one of my first impressions of Grace was at a retreat. We were in the same group. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh, was it university retreat?
It was, yeah, university
We
retreat.
were in college.
Yeah, it was like a huge
You mean
retreat.
you are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Where all the college campuses come together.
Yes.
And so we were like grouped up in different teams.
Teams, yeah. Game groups.
Game groups. And then we had to think of like a simple, team chant or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Team dance or something. And Grace was the lead. Like she like choreographed the moves.
She would.
And she was very serious about it. And I was like, damn, this girl she's good, first of all. But she's really serious about like
Yeah.
winning this. I don't remember who won.
Yeah.
But I just remember her like since college,
Yeah.
she was a dancer. I mean, even
Yes.
before that, I'm sure you were, right?
Yeah, but not like for real dancing, but like, yeah, like
You enjoyed.
I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. Since I was like a baby. Yeah, I
The
loved it.
Kim sisters,
Uh-huh.
like they're intense, like in a good way.
Yes.
They're like very passionate.
Yes.
I remember Janice was telling me a story. This is when we played football in college
Yeah.
too. And Janice, this is her first year playing.
Yeah.
And she's playing as offensive lineman. So she's on the O line. Tiff, your sister,
Yeah.
was D line. So they're like opposing teams.
like facing
like
each other.
right at the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like that's like the most like impact area
Yeah.
where they're like literally pushing each other.
Right.
One is trying to go through, one is trying to block.
Yeah.
But then she said her first impression of Tiffany was they're at the line and Tiffany's going
She straight up growled.
She's growling and barking.
I
so
was
proud.
so scared.
And Janice is like, oh shoot, it's about to go down.
Yeah,
You know?
it was like the very first game in
Yeah.
the tournament. And obviously this isn't like a professional game or anything. It's just like, just campus college girls just versing each other, right? And it's my first time playing football.
Yeah.
I'm like shaking in my boots.
Yeah.
And then this girl in front of me is like, I'm like, oh my God. So in that similar way, like
Yes.
they were very like serious, like very intense.
Yes, they're dedicated.
Yes, dedicated.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
Is that from your mom or your dad?
No, I don't know. I feel like me and my sister, I feel like I'm pretty competitive.
Oh.
My sister's less competitive, I'll say that. Yeah, but
Wait, I didn't
know.
know Tiff was like, okay, first of all, I always knew she was funny.
Yeah.
But she's so 착해.
Yeah.
Right?
She is.
She's like the peacemaker in your family, right?
I'm the problem.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm like, dude, when it's me and my mom at it, it's like World War III.
wow.
Yeah, and my sister's just like, guys,
Oh.
just say sorry. Like my dad's like that too.
Oh.
But yeah, my sister's the harmony maker. Like she's very like peaceful. Like she doesn't. Yeah.
So would you say you're more like your mom
Yeah.
and Tiff is like more like your dad?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Also, your mom is so funny. Like, I feel like Grace's whole family,
Family.
they're
Yeah.
such like characters.
Yes.
Like each individual,
Yeah,
person.
for sure.
But I just remember like even at their gender reveal, Grace's mom really wanted a dad.
Oh, a
Because she
daughter.
has 2 daughters, and I'm sure she
Yeah.
loved having
God,
2
I
daughters.
was so upset that day.
I mean, Grace
Yeah.
really wanted a daughter too.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like
well,
it
no,
didn't
not
matter.
because of that.
Oh wait, why?
My mom cried.
She cried.
She straight up cried saying, I wanted you to have a daughter, but it was a son. And I was pissed.
Oh, I didn't know she cried.
You were pissed by her
Wait,
reaction.
what were you going to say?
Well, I was just because she said something along those lines, and I
oh.
thought that was so funny. She's like, I was like, 축하해요.
Yeah.
Like, 할머니 되신 거
Like,
너무
congratulations.
축하해요. 아들이에요. And then she's like, 딸 원했어. But she wasn't crying. She was like, just saying that.
Wait,
I
I
thought
could
it was so
totally
funny.
imagine her face, like,
Yeah.
being like, I wanted a daughter. I want her to get a daughter.
She sounds exactly like
Oh,
Grace. She
the
has
voice.
the same voice, but it's like just in Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
She
I
cried?
I was so mad.
you were mad about the way she reacted.
Yes. I'm like, who the heck cares that
Yeah.
it's a boy?
Yeah.
Like,
Just healthy
what,
baby
you're not
matters.
going to love him as
Yeah.
much? I mean, by the way, my mom loves
I know.
Aiden.
Yeah.
They are like 2 peas in a pod. My mom loves him. My favorite person in Aiden's world is my mom. Yeah, so it's like insane that she cried.
Yeah.
Like, I almost want to show Aiden. I don't even think I have a video, but like if I did, I would
Like
show
how
it.
upset she
Yeah.
was.
But
Yeah.
she like can't think like otherwise now,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah.
That's so funny because
Is that funny?
I think then you and your sister are very similar. Like you guys are very similar together, but also like from your mom too. I feel
Yeah.
like I could totally imagine that.
Yeah.
Like you doing that in the future, even.
Yeah,
about
probably.
Aiden.
No, I hate that I'm admitting this, but I'm gonna be like that crazy mother-in-law. I'm very sorry to whoever Aiden marries in the future, but like, and I love my mother-in-law. Like Mike's mom is an angel. Like I tell her everything, but I'm definitely not gonna be like that.
You're gonna be a
Future
difficult
daughter-in-law.
시어머니.
I think so. I feel bad.
Aww.
But maybe he'll bring home someone like I absolutely love.
Yeah,
I
dude,
hope
you're
he
not gonna be
does.
like that, Grace. You're so
you
like,
sure?
yeah, you're so loving and
sure?
nurturing. Yeah,
I don't think so.
yes, you are. You are. Okay,
so
but can we
funny.
talk about Grace's dad too?
Yes,
Because
we have to
he
go
is
into
my
this.
favorite person ever. He is just like every time he shows up on Grace's, videos or stories, even Tiffany's stories. Like,
Yeah.
okay, he's always crying, dancing, or
Yeah.
just
Your
like
parents both have a lot of tears, huh?
no,
my
not your
dad
mom.
more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. My mom cries in secret.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not in public. Yeah.
But like just like every time something happens,
Yeah.
like Grace's dad just bursts out into tears. That's his like default
Yeah.
reaction. Just
I mean, that's
tearing
what
up.
happens when you have 2 daughters.
Yeah,
Like, is your
that's
dad
true.
like that?
My dad doesn't cry a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he's a softie, but he doesn't cry.
my
Maybe
dad
he needs
never
to be
cries.
older.
Maybe.
He
Yeah.
needs to get more
maybe.
like
Yeah,
older.
but your
Yeah.
dad like has he always been like that? Like
No.
Oh, really?
No. I think like
Oh,
when
it's a
he-
recent
I
thing.
think it's not even. I want to say maybe when we were in college, it became like that. So what? That was like when he's 50 or like I guess it's still kind of young.
yeah.
But yeah, like he was a very tough dad.
Oh.
Yeah, growing up.
Oh.
That's why I say like things like I don't really remember a lot about my dad growing up, except the fact that like he worked a lot. He had like a little mini mart. So like, you know, like back then you work like 7 days a week like that. He didn't even take like holidays off really. It was like one break in the summer. Like we would go to like Ocean City in Maryland. I'm from Maryland. Like I was born and raised there and then we moved here. So like I don't have, like I always say, oh, the only memories I have of my dad is like when we go to like family parties, he's like the life of the party. He's like wild, like emceeing everything. Like he's always like like always like so like
you get that from him too.
For sure.
So me and my sister gets like that. Like we're hyper, like hyper upper. We're hype man basically. Like me and my sister are both really good at that.
Yeah.
And then he like getting 혼내, like getting in trouble. Like my dad was the scariest, and yeah, he worked a lot. Yeah. So it's so different now because like I love my dad. Like I understand him now. Like the hard work. But you know, we're girls. Like you don't always understand that growing up.
So he had a deli shop and he worked there he owned it and worked there with your mom.
Yes.
But then they sold it and now they're like retired. But then he basically like changed jobs to where you're at.
Yes.
At your
at
hospital.
the hospital.
Yes.
And what does he do there?
He works in the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. It's
and
pretty
that
crazy.
video got viral.
It did. Like everyone loves my dad now.
It's such a simple video, but I think it's because it's so like genuine.
Yeah.
And your dad is so sweet. Like in the video is just you like saying hi to your dad, you know, at work.
And he's like that every time.
And like his smile, he just like he's just working and then he sees you and he just totally like lights up. And it's just like when you see that video, you just can't not.
You can
tear
feel
up.
his love for Grace.
Yeah.
Just like from the way he smiles, he's like beaming with
Yeah.
pride when he sees her.
It's like, dude, he introduces me to the same co-workers every time.
My daughter.
Yeah, my daughter. This is my daughter. She's a nurse.
But one thing I really love about that video is like it's not just like him like, you know, smiling and like just that side, but also like Grace kind of talks about how he had a difficult time adjusting in the beginning, you know, because he doesn't speak English well and he's also like not his own boss anymore. He's working for someone like a hospital.
That's true.
So it must have been like a huge change. And then Grace mentions in that video that like he wanted to quit because he couldn't handle that, you know? But because he's such a hard worker and like, you know, Grace was like encouraging him to like keep going, he, you know, kept trying. He kept, you know, 출근행. And now he loves it. And he loves working with Grace and seeing her.
Yeah.
And I feel like that video, like, it encapsulates so much.
Yes.
You know, like the immigrant life.
Yes.
The father-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
Like the hardships. Also the joys, you know? Like, and that went viral, right?
Yeah. I mean, I never thought it would. I just wanted to share my dad's story because I felt like, like the immigrant story and like my dad is 60 years old. I mean, I got some hate comments on that too.
Wait,
like,
why? What kind of
like, why don't you retire your dad? I'm like, you know, if I could, I would, you know?
Okay.
What
an ignorant comment.
No, but I think it related to so many people because it's not like that immigrant like life is hard, you know, like they left everything they knew and like their friends and everything to like have a better life for their children. So like, you know, my dad had a hard life, but one thing I learned and appreciate is like he lives with so much joy. Like anything he does it with like 1000%, you know. And one thing he's always told me growing up is like just do whatever you love and do it well, like, you know. And and so I kind of always lived by that. And my dad is like the living, like my example, you know. I've seen him do that. I mean, I'm not saying he loves being a deli man or like that's not like what he dreamt for himself, but like, you know, this is a life that he has right now and he'd rather do it like with joyful heart and then be like always moping around that he couldn't live a life that he wanted to, you know, which I so appreciate because like, life is like that. You don't always get what you want, you know? So I love you.
And he's twins with Aiden, by the way.
I was gonna say Aiden looks like 할아버지.
They look like exactly alike.
Mike hates that, but
wait, really?
So I was going, no, babe, he looks like you. Like, okay.
Wait, okay. Honestly, the Aiden really looks like Mike too. Especially when he does this.
I see it.
You know, the like staring up. That's exactly Mike.
He has the resting what is it? B face.
Yeah.
RBF. Yeah. RBF. Yeah.
But also though, like when I think it's so sweet when Grace, your dad, cries at like even like the such small moments. I think like in your story, you guys were giving him like a birthday gift or something like that, and then I forget what video is it. You know what I'm talking
Like
about?
a long time ago.
I think so. And then he starts crying.
Partier.
Yeah, he starts crying.
Yeah.
And then Grace's mom's just like, "Are you serious? Why are you crying?"
Yeah, that's always the kind of like how it plays out.
Yeah.
I know.
I
He gets
think-
something or
yeah.
someone breaks some news to her, or like your pregnancy
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
We're
Oh,
pregnant.
yeah.
He starts tearing up, crying, and then Grace 어머님's like, 왜 울어?
Yeah. He's like, it's a happy moment. Why are you crying? And
I
he's just like,
know. It's their dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude,
Such a
but you know, when I
crybaby.
think about it, like my mom was like in her 30s when she, emigrated here with 3 kids.
Yeah.
That's not too far off from
30?
She was in her 30s.
wow.
Yeah. Because I came when I was 5.
Yeah.
And like when I think about that, it's like, can you guys do that? Can you guys imagine like
No.
uprooting everything, like taking 3 kids?
No.
to a country where you don't know the language very
Yeah.
well.
Like that's kind of insane to me.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
When
for
did your
sure.
parents come?
Actually, my dad came around 25, but my mom's been here since high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, my mom had a very hard childhood, I think. So that's like her whole thing. I think that's why my mom is like very independent, kind of rough around the edges. Like she's a go-getter. She works very hard. So I've always like looked up to my mom in that sense. So she's been here for a while. She's kind of had to take care of herself.
Wait, another thing I remember about your mom is you said like she kind of like took care of her mother-in-law,
Yeah.
right, for a long time. And Grace said like I forgot. You can like kind of speak into
Yeah.
this, but like she looked to her as like a mother figure.
Yeah.
So she was really good to her mother-in-law. And, like 끝까지 모셨대.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my dad, I grew up with my grandparents, like living with them. And yeah, so my dad said to my mom when they're like getting ready to get married, says the one thing that is a deal breaker was like, we need to be able to moshe my parents. So like have
Live with.
Yeah. Like my dad's like, I want to be able to live with my parents and help them.
Which is a huge ask.
Exactly.
Yes.
So like, but my mom she said that she wasn't even like, she didn't flinch. She was like, okay. Yeah.
Wait, why?
Because my mom's parents died at a very young age. My mom says she doesn't even remember her dad. Yeah.
Wait, both of them?
Yeah. They both died from a stroke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like my mom came here as a kid with her brothers and sister. Yeah.
Like without parents.
Without parents. So that's my mom's like a whole like she's a beast in her own way. That's why like you meet my mom, like she's very like strong. She's like yeah, like she's very strong.
센 언니.
Yeah, she's like you don't want to mess with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mindy, no one mess with
Mindy?
you. Yeah,
Mindy Kim.
her name is Mindy.
It
Like
matches her so well. Her name matches her so
exactly.
well.
She's like the beast. Yeah, but yeah, that's so my mom was like, she doesn't even know what it's like to have parents until she met my dad.
Yeah.
And my grandparents were like the sweetest, the best grandparents like ever. Like I get so that's like me and Mike, we bond because we both grew up with our grandparents. Yeah. But my mom like basically took care of them until
They
we moved
passed?
out here. And then yeah. But then like my grandma they all passed, but like my grandma went to Korea, and then her daughter took care of her in Korea. Then my grandpa died from COVID, but he was in a
Yes,
nursing
I
home
remember
for a long time.
I
Yeah,
see.
but till then, my mom's been handling everything. Yeah, with my dad.
And I remember you saying like she did it so joyfully because she looked to them as if they were her own
parents.
yeah,
parents.
she called them mom and dad.
Isn't that so
That is
감동적이야?
very sweet.
I didn't know this. Like, you don't really think about it when you're growing
Yeah.
up, but like later when I became an adult, like I learned all that. It's like pretty crazy because it's like that's hard.
Yeah.
It is really hard.
Yeah.
And I was more 감동 because like I've met Grace's mom a couple times and she is that 센 언니 like vibe.
Right,
you know?
right, right.
She's so like you know, like very like sometimes harsh a little bit in the way
Has
she
that
talks.
strong impression.
Very strong, like strong, independent lady.
Yeah.
But then when I heard that like she moshod her in-laws and like she did it so joyfully and like she loved them so much, that was so like it was so surprising to me. Like oh my gosh, because you would imagine like if she said like that, like no, I'm not gonna moshod your parents. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But she did it like in spite of all of that.
And I'm sure as like a mom too, that hits so different too,
Oh,
right? Like,
yeah,
can
for
you
sure.
imagine having to, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how sweet your in-laws are, like living with them,
It's
taking
a
care of
whole
them.
different-
Yeah.
But I think like my mom just didn't know anything else, and I think she really wanted that. Yeah, like what?
Parental.
Yeah, like she wanted to know what that's like.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm just my mom's like pretty. She's kind of a beast.
Yeah.
Wow.
And actually, speaking of like kind of like strong, independent women, like so Grace and Tiff, I've always gotten the impression that they were kind of strong, like sen 여자s, a little bit opinionated, maybe, you know, like because I don't know, maybe like loud girls can come off that way.
Yeah.
But I actually like hung out with Tiff, right? Your sister in New York. And it was just like for one night.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, so like for my personality is I'm kind of loud too and like hyper. But when I'm with someone else that's like that, I kind of get small.
Oh,
I kind of feel
I
like
get that.
a little
There's a
aggression.
clashing vibe.
Yeah. And so I was like preparing my heart a little bit. And then I got to know her and she's like so sweet. It's so
sweet.
interesting because she's loud and like, you know, very, you know, like that. And she has that look.
Yeah.
But she's so nice.
Yeah.
And like I got along with her really well and I didn't feel like threatened or anything. We just got along.
Like two loud girls going against each other.
Despite the memory.
Exactly. And it was like so much fun. I think it's like that's probably, you know, where she gets like a mix of both your dad and your mom. And I'm sure your mom, you know, she has a very soft side to her too.
She does, but she's sick. She's strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but my sister's very yeah. I mean, I'm the strong one compared to my sister, but my sister's such a good people person. So she knows she can vibe with like anyone.
She can.
She really can.
Dude, we stayed up until like 4 a.m. that night.
Oh my gosh.
And like at 2 a.m. we went to like a deli, a bodega.
Oh, bodega.
We went to a bodega at 2 a.m. Bodega in New York.
Bodega.
New York.
In New
We
York.
got chapped cheese.
Yeah.
And then she was talking with this girl like at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
She looked a little, I mean, she looked fine, like, but she's a stranger and she's like completely vibing with her.
Yeah.
With Tiffany. I was like,
that's her.
I respect that so much. Like she's so, I thought I was a people person, but she connects with people so well.
Yeah. I say she traps people.
She traps people.
Yeah, dude, she like can talk for like hours with a stranger. And I'm like, how are you do
But
that?
I feel like you guys are so similar. No,
No, I cannot do that. I cannot do small talk. My sister's like queen of small talk. She's like really good at like just learning about who you are. Like you don't have to go that deep. Like you could be surface level.
Yeah.
My sister can do that for a very long time.
Yeah.
That's why I always say like she would have made a great lawyer or like a great
I can see that.
salesperson
Yeah.
or
Oh,
like
salesperson. I
yeah,
can see
just
that.
someone like that can talk. But that's why she's so good at her job as
Yeah.
a dental hygienist because she makes her patients feel very comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know you're like mouth open, like
Yeah.
you have. Some people are like very scared of the dentist. Like my sister, just like so that she's not even talking about them. She's talking about herself. She's like, oh my god, yeah, like I love blah blah blah, or like I got this new bag, or like I got, you know, I don't know. She like talks about something, and then like I don't know, like her patients love her, and they like always go and see her.
Yeah.
Like,
we gotta have her on the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
She'd be perfect. 'Cause
Perfect.
She's
Yeah.
really the type that can just like take something and go with it. Like,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
hours.
That reminds me, Mike, Grace's husband, told me like when Mike's parents, because Mike's parents live in Korea.
Yeah.
When they first came, they were engaged, and usually in Korean culture, we have like this thing called 상견례 where your parents and in-laws meet for the first time,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
just as an official meeting at that, like we are uniting as one
Yes.
family, right? And blessing their marriage. But anyways, Mike's parents came, and like. I guess like Mike gave them the impression that like, oh, you know, Grace is like 진짜 outgoing.
Yeah.
She's like so bright and she's like, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
talkative, right? But then like I guess like Grace was a little nervous.
Of course.
And then, you know, as Grace kind of alluded, she's like not too good at conversing, especially like if it's in Korean, because that's not her dominant language. But then I guess like Grace is kind of like frozen during the 상견례.
And Tiffany was there?
But Tiffany, because it's usually with all your siblings, all of your family members come and meet the other family. Tiffany was there, and then Tiff was doing her thing, like like 애교 and like talking it up. 안녕하세요, like being super bright. So Mike was saying like her parents was actually more like, Tiffany가 너무 좋던데.
Like complimenting
Tiffany more than Grace.
Dude,
And
their
Grace was
future
like,
daughter-in-law.
I know. Like, what the heck? I was just nervous. Like, it's like the first time, like, the two families meeting, and my sister's just like, yeah, like, you know, 아버님. Like, and, like, Mike's dad loves my sister. Yeah, and, like, was just complimenting her.
like 너무 밝고
Doesn't
너무
even
좋다고.
see me. Yeah.
Wait, you're getting married to Grace? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's really, but you know, I very much appreciate my sister.
Yeah.
Because there's just moments that I feel very uncomfortable, but my sister is just like there to like help
ease
ease the tension. If anything, she's like my crutch. Yeah, even today I was like, can you just come? Can you just come? But like, I'm like, I get it. She's like her commute's really long.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. So
How many hours does she drive?
a total of 3. almost.
Like round trip.
Yeah, round trip. Yeah.
I mean, she also lives a very busy life too. She's a TikTok star.
Yes.
It's funny because like I'm on TikTok too, right?
Yeah.
And I see on TikTok when I first joined, I didn't know Tiff was so big on TikTok.
Yeah.
She has a big following.
She's like, this is my secret. Don't tell people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, sis, like you're on TikTok. Like there's
She
no
has
secret.
good content. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like on TikTok, it's just like a small community, small group of people who are like quietly uploading, you know, every single day.
yeah.
And I see Tiffany, she's like uploading something every single day, like just talking to the camera. She's like a natural.
She's very natural.
And I'm like,
at
it makes sense.
Yeah.
So like the Kim sisters, they're just meant to be, you know, stars.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know about that, but yeah. I mean, she's really good at like talking. So,
But I think it's the voice. You guys have the same voice, so that's why I'm like, they're just the
no,
same
I
person.
just told you guys I didn't want to do the podcast because I don't like my voice.
I love it.
I'm
I
gonna
love
listen
you.
back to this and be like cringing.
No.
But I was just gonna mention like we've had like a few like guests who are like pretty like natural
Yes.
and they just like ease into conversation super well.
Yeah.
But I was like, Grace is like,
I mean,
so
But like you girls are so good. Like
What do you mean?
You guys, like I've listened to your podcast, so like
right,
I
now
know
we're
what
in.
I'm going into.
Here we go
you know,
again.
usually the parts where the guests compliment us, I just cut it. I just edit it out.
Don't cut this, please. No, but you guys like make it very easy. Yeah, so thank you.
Let's talk a little bit more about your husband, Grace, Mike, because I feel like before Grace came, like really got to shine, I feel like Mike was kind of like back in college. He was kind of like the 핫한 남자, 오빠. He was like he was kind of like a star,
Yes.
right? And so, Jess, what were you saying just now?
What do you mean?
You were talking to him, and then
Oh, Mike was like, we were saying like, hey, Mike, you know, you can like come out with Aiden in the beginning for the intro, you know, because you're a big part of Mama G's, you know, Insta. He's like, nah. Call me separately. And then Jax was like, 욕심이네. Like, okay, like you kind of want to come out separately? He's like, yeah.
He has his own, like we're so different, you know. He has like his own ideas and his personality, and I think like as much as Mike does support me. Like he's like my biggest supporter, but I think he's also like he has that like star quality too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm there to support him too. Like if he were to like be top or something, like I'm gonna be there as a hype woman. But I don't think we're both meant to be like, or one of us is meant to be like a support person only. Like I think we're both like we strive for greatness. I think we're both kind of like that.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like great, but like there's sometimes conflict because we're both like we want to do this and we want to do that. Yeah, no, we talk about it all the time. Like, you know, I tell Mike, like, I mean, I've always like when we get into fights about like me being too busy or like whatever, like I'm doing too much, because obviously it puts a strain on your partner.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah, so like when I'm doing a lot, especially in this season, like I'm in school, like I have a full-time job, you know, and then somehow I got into content creating. Like this was not meant to happen, but it did, you know, I'm kind of riding the wave. Yeah, like my life is crazy. So like a lot of times like Mike is Aiden's like primary person because I'm in work or school or something like that. But I've I think he has his own dreams, and I keep telling him,
Like what?
baby, just I mean, I think that
You call him maybe?
no, but I think like I tell him like just wait till I'm done with school and like
Yeah.
I have my nurse practitioner job. Like when things are a little stable in my life, run high.
Wow.
Like go big. You know, you do you, boo.
Yeah.
Like I will be there for you.
Yeah.
Like you can do your own thing. And I always told him that, like, cause he needs that push.
Yeah.
Like Mike's very like he's a lot more anxious than I am actually,
Like
and
more
risk
reserved.
adverse. Yeah, like he doesn't like trying things without like knowing what's at the end.
see.
Whereas me, like,
Like you're a risk
I'm
taker.
just ready to go for like
You
if I
take
have
risks.
if I have an idea and I don't like to some extent I need to be like it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, like no big deal.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Right.
I tried to like open an Etsy shop. It failed miserably. But like at least I tried, you
Yeah,
know? So
yeah.
like so Mike's not like that. You know? Not like I'm afraid of failing, but I'm not afraid to try. And because of that, I'd rather live with no regret and
Yeah.
then fail.
Do you ever like show him like, you know, potential content? And he's like, nah, don't
Yeah,
post that. That's
all the time.
cringe.
Oh, like your drafts?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like, he's
I
like,
do.
oh, this is my idea. Like, I'm thinking of doing this. Or what do you think about this video?
Uh-huh,
And I'm
uh-huh.
just curious because Mike is like so stoic and like sometimes like he's very critical, but in a
Yeah.
good way. 'cause,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
He has
yeah.
a good eye.
Yeah.
But like, you know, for you, you're the type where you're like, whatever, like it's
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
authentic, you know,
Self,
content.
yeah,
I'm
uh-huh.
just gonna post this and that. But is he ever like, dude, this is cringe, don't post that?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. But I never listen to him.
Oh.
Yeah. But I do listen to him in like direction wise. Yeah. Like, oh, that's actually a very great idea. Like
Yeah.
I will use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do I listen to him all the time?
Yeah.
No,
I
don't.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he has his like own aesthetics. Like I have mine. Like mine's crazy, you
Yeah.
know? And he's like my biggest hater,
Yeah.
but he's like my biggest supporter,
supporter.
you know? Like, and I kind of like that, but sometimes I'm like, can you just dance with me? He's like, no. Like I would send him dance reels all the time. Like it's couples.
Yeah.
He will not do it for the
Yeah.
life of me.
Yeah.
But
Like,
that's why it works. It's the dynamic.
That
No, but
it's
I
the
need to find a
funniest.
partner
Yeah,
to
when he's
do
like
it.
rolling his eyes
Yeah.
and you're just dancing next to him.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say like you kind of have the same dynamic
Yes.
with
As
David,
David,
right?
yeah.
Because you're like the happy-go-lucky, like dance.
Uh-huh.
You know, sometimes like you want to do cringy stuff, and
Yeah.
David's like hell no, you know. But
That's why I relate to Grace's content so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously she's a way better dancer than I am.
no, you're so good.
No.
Hey, all I say is have confidence and no shame.
That's true.
You'll get big.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But then I remember when we were trying to do like a dance
Yeah.
TikTok together, and we're trying to learn the moves.
Uh-huh.
It was like so hard for us, and then I saw like you uploaded the same dance. I was like, how is she so? It's so effortless.
Okane.
Yeah, that was the one.
Watashi wa star.
It was so hard for us to learn. It took
it was
us
hard
like,
for me too.
you did so effortlessly. But you know, actually talking about Mike, I remember Mike was Jess and Josh's photographer, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a photographer.
Yeah.
And the first time I experienced his like creative like direction and kind of like his stoic personality was we went out to I helped them, right?
Oh, yeah,
for the
yeah.
engagement
Engagement,
shoot.
uh-huh.
And then, you know, for me, I like to encourage people, you know, especially in that kind of like awkward setting. You know,
Yeah.
I want to do something. So I was like, oh my God, 너무 잘 나온다. Like, oh, the photos are coming out so nicely.
Yeah.
Jess, you look so good. Josh, you're doing great. I was like, yapping, right? Next time.
yeah.
And then he's like, 네가 어떻게 알아?
Wait, that's so him.
How do you know? Like, just shut up. I have the eye. Just take the back seat and like let me do my thing. And I'm like,
You're like, oh,
Nip. Just shut up.
so
wait,
Mike.
that is so Mike.
That's so Mike, but he also has a really sweet and gentle side. You know what I mean? Like he's very like pointed and like critical
Yeah.
sometimes, but like that's like his exterior, and his interior is like very caring and
Yeah.
like with the people he loves and cares for. Like
Yeah.
he's so giving and
loyal.
generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to do this. I have to translate what I just said.
Yeah, what?
He said like, how do you know?
Oh yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah,
How do you know?
How do you know if this photo's gonna come out
Yeah,
well
yeah,
or
yeah,
not?
yeah.
And you're just like,
And
I don't.
I got really scared. I was like, oh shoot. In a way, I am stepping on his toes right now. So I
But I feel like he was kind of trolling you
Yeah,
too.
I
Like,
for
I
sure,
think
for
he was
sure.
just,
He
like,
knows
kidding.
who you are.
Yeah, he was just kidding.
Yeah. Like he's like, you giving me the green light to
Yeah.
give you some
Yeah, I know.
criticism.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mike, you want to plug his photography?
Michael Ryu That's it.
Michael
Michael
Ryu.
It's just
Ryu.
Michael Ryu.
Oh, it's not Michael Ryu. He doesn't have a separate account.
he's
it's just Michael Ryu.
Yeah.
So it's Michael
Michael Ryu.
RYU.
Yeah.
For all of your wedding photo needs.
Yes. Do you guys like, because you guys both had a few viral videos. Do you kind of feel pressure to like, kind of like, put out the same type of content when one is like, goes viral? Or
I mean,
is it, like,
I don't have that 욕심 anymore because like it fizzled out for me. TikTok and putting out content, it's so much work. So that's why I'm like, dude, I don't know how Grace does it.
yeah.
Well, I was just talking to your husband.
Yeah.
I said, so far, I haven't had, like, I've had an idea for every day.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't, like, if I don't post, it's just because I don't want to post. Or,
Yeah.
like, let's just take a break. Like,
Yeah.
I think people are sick of me now. Like, or I just, like, an intentional break.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just have so many ideas. Yeah, it's just things
That's
in
why
my life.
I'm like so like jealous of that too because when I first started TikTok, right, I posted like 2-3 times a day because I was so excited. I'm like, I have so much content to upload. I was like going hard, right? Because I saw Tiss content and then Grace content, but I'm like done now. I'm like,
You're dried out.
I tapped out. Yeah, I have no content. I have no ideas. That's why I'm like,
But one thing you mentioned, Janice, I remember when she was encouraging me to start TikTok.
oh yeah, I tried to.
She was like,
yours is funny too.
I tried to make
I
Jess
just
into a influencer, but she quit.
She was like telling me like don't think about it like that you're creating new content. It has to be creative. It's just like you're pulling things out of your life that's
Archive?
there already, like in your archive, and you're just uploading it, editing it, and like you're
Yeah.
just making content out of what you already have or
Yeah.
what you already are doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything is content, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you think about it that way, it's like, oh, okay, like you just need the diligence
Yeah.
and
Yes.
kind of just the creative input to
Uh-huh.
add
Yeah.
on to whatever you're doing already during the day.
Exactly. It's like because
Wait, I'm sorry. A few seconds ago, you said you're dried out.
I know. Okay, so I expect every day one post a day,
Hard.
Yeah.
three times.
I did want to ask though, like there are lots of momfluencers
Yeah.
nowadays, and now there's a whole new wave about like protecting, the
Yes,
child
I
and all these
know.
things. Do you have any worries about that?
Yes, of course. Like as he gets older and as I get bigger, it I do worry about that. So I try to make it a thing that like my content is not always about Aiden. Does that make sense? Like
true.
I want it to be about me, and Aiden is just part of my life. Does that make sense? So like in that sense, it's like I'm doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Like as normal people, right? Like you just post your children because you love them and you think they're freaking cute, and like you want to share that with other people. And like when Aiden gets to an age where he has his own opinions, and if I ask him, he's like, "Do you want to be in mommy's video?" and he says no, then okay, I will stop putting him in my videos, and I'll just let everyone know, yo guys, Aiden doesn't want to be in Mama G's video anymore. So sorry.
Yeah.
But like I never wanted it to be about him. It was never like that. I mean, yes, it came from having him, like content creating, but like essentially this is my life, my channel, my content. So
And he's a big part of your life.
he is a big part of my
Yeah.
life, and that's why he's in it. But I never wanted the sole focus to be on him. Yeah.
And now that
so-
I think about it, you're right. It's like
Yeah.
always the focus is always on you.
Yeah.
Like you're
True.
dancing or
Yeah.
like it's your,
yeah.
Featuring Aiden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
my hype man. Like I am the star.
Right.
Yeah. But I will say is any content, like paid content or collabs that Aiden's in, it's going like I'm putting it in his thing.
Wow. College
Yeah.
fund.
I mean, I feel like that's only right? Like if you're gonna showcase your kid,
Yeah.
like, and it's them, like you should like, they made money for you,
Wow.
Yeah. So
Dang.
yeah. Oh,
I was like, I don't know if I would do that.
I'm keeping it all
I mean,
for
not that,
myself.
I know, not that it ever happened for me, but I'm like,
well, like, that's something like I've been thinking more and more about, like being more intentional in that
Wow,
sense. As
Grace.
we're making more content,
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone loves
awesome.
Aiden. Like, yeah, they want him in like those videos or something. Yeah. So if that's the case, then yeah, I will give him a cut.
Wow.
A cut.
yeah.
Because mommy's still doing all the editing.
Oh, that's right.
And, like,
Yeah.
filming.
Yeah.
He's just in it, you
Yeah.
know.
He's a model. He's a model.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's a hard topic.
Yeah.
Some people are like very
Yes.
like white, like they put, you know, they don't show their baby's
Yeah.
face because of like everything, like the privacy and like
Yeah.
child people, you know.
I know
Yeah, get
Jenim,
that.
she used to show her kid,
Oh, yeah.
but then she
She
recently
stopped.
stopped.
Yeah.
Because she says she's just being more mindful of his like digital footprint. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the key word.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like people have different takes. And
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
was telling Janice, because when she was first encouraging me to like, you know, put up videos of
Yeah.
Hui and like just, you know, everyday life.
Yeah.
I was like, more than like that part of it, I was like, I'm scared of like all the hate comments because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
always gonna be people telling you that you're doing something wrong with your
Right.
parenting. Like no matter what, just the
Yeah.
simplest video. Why are you giving Aiden pasta?
Wait.
So much sodium.
Yeah. No.
Things like that.
All the time.
All the time.
All the
It's just a
time.
simple video where you're just showing your life. You're
Yes.
feeding your son.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone will always say something critical
Yes.
about your parenting.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's why I feel like being a momfluencer is so hard.
Yes.
Because you're just gonna get criticized for anything you do.
Yeah. There was the Passy video I posted like a couple weeks ago.
What is that video again? Explain to
Passy?
me.
Oh,
Pacifier.
I basically it's a video of me weaning the Passy off. Yeah. So from Aiden, he's like 21 or 22 months, whatever. 22 months old, so I had to take the Passy out. That was the time I decided to take it away. Dude, the amount of comments that are not nice.
The hate comments.
Yeah, were like crazy. I mean, it wasn't like a lot, but they were just hurtful.
Yeah.
I think like it like digs at your parenting.
Yeah.
It like makes you feel like you're a bad mom. It almost made me question like, did I do it too early, or could I have waited, or should I have done it sooner?
Yeah.
Like people, there's like everyone's giving their input, and like. Maybe the third comment that got posted, like someone did say, like, "You're horrible. You're a bad mom."
my
I
gosh.
almost deleted that video because of that. But I really felt like this video was gonna relate to so many people, and I wanted to relate to these moms or dads, like parents who are struggling with this, because it's a very common issue that many parents struggle with their kid if they're a passy baby. And that passy helped Aiden so much. It helped me so much. Like I was very sad taking it away from him, but it's like it has to be done for so
it's
many
time.
reasons. Yeah. And so I just felt like one bad comment doesn't mean like my life is over.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of tell yourself that. And also, I just block all of them.
And also, if you're getting hate comments, that means you're also doing well
Yeah,
on
I mean,
Insta
yeah, I
or
guess
whatever
like
platform.
I mean, you know, it's getting rolled out,
yes,
right? So
yeah, you're getting
yeah.
all kinds of input and opinions.
They
But
call
that-
it was it hate bait or like
rage
rage
bait.
bait?
Oh.
There we go.
Rage
Yeah.
Like
Some
bait.
people
posting
even like
something?
purposely want people to be mad and like
it's like
comment
I'll take
more
it, man.
Engagement.
I'll take the engagement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did not want that from
Yeah.
that video. Okay,
And
like
I'm sure you were so like careful about posting that video too,
yes,
right?
I was like, should I not? Should I not? But like, I just really felt like I could connect with a lot of moms and like dads with this, so I kept it up.
Yes.
Yeah, so I kept
Janice,
it
I'm
up.
glad you did.
And
Yeah.
a lot of like, I got a lot more great comments or like encouraging comments and things like that.
Yeah.
But I did get like one comment was like if you're gonna post like a polarizing video, like you should be open to criticism.
Dang.
I was like, I wrote back, and I don't write back to like those comments a lot, but I said, this is not criticism, it's bullying.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, you can tell me like you can do it this way, and
Yeah.
this way. That's criticism, and that's like you should have done it this way. But when you're telling a mom that they're horrible
Yeah.
or that like your baby's like whatever, no, that's straight bullying. I will block you, and I did. I think I have a lot of blocked
Good.
accounts
Accounts,
from
yeah.
from that video.
Yeah.
But you don't deserve to watch Mama G's videos.
That's right. It just makes me so sad when like moms like always put disclaimers like disclaimer.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing this. He's fine. She's fine. I'm doing this because blah 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 because they know the amount of hate that comes in. you
Yeah.
know? But it's like, you know, with the passy things, there's always gonna be like different pace at
Yeah.
which like, you know, your kids wean off of it or
Yeah.
they want to keep it, and your parenting style is gonna be different for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
It just makes me so angry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little. heated.
No.
It makes me so angry when like people feel like their way is the highway,
Yeah.
and they're criticizing others for it. And again,
Yeah.
you could be nice about it. Oh, I did it this way. Maybe you can explore this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're like literally like attacking that person, saying that they're horrible just
Yeah.
because their parenting
Yeah.
style is different,
Yeah.
that is I cannot accept that.
Yeah.
Dang, the
So,
mom.
I know.
The rage.
So like after that video, I almost was like, I'm not gonna post anything like this ever again because it's like not worth it. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Like, I haven't had a moment where I wanted to share like a transition in Aiden's life like right now. Maybe later there will be, but since then I'm like, I don't know. Like, I didn't like that they were so mean. And I mean, I get it. Internet's a mean place, but I think when your intentions are for good, and then you kind of get that, it's just like hard to do more, you know. But I guess that's the life, like,
of an influencer. Content creator,
or like, you know, if you're putting out stuff about parenting,
exactly.
Yeah, so
but there are also comments where they're like, wow, I can relate so much. I'm going through the same journey,
so much more,
and I feel like those are the comments that also kind of make it a little bit worth it, right?
Yeah,
like,
for
oh,
sure.
at least I'm like helping parents relate.
And that was the whole point. I posted that for that reason. Because I'm like that. Like, when I see other people posting things that like I'm struggling with, Aiden struggling with, like, it's like so nice to know, hey, I'm not alone, you know. So that's like the intention behind it. But
there's just like so many polarizing topics. Like, there's like, you know, like vaccines. That's like the big one. But there's also like sleep training. Some people are like, it is so like inhumane to sleep train your child. Like, you have to co-sleep. There's like, you know, bottle feeding, you know, formula versus nursing. So many things, right? At the end of the day, my thing is, if your child is fed, if they're being taken care of, if they're growing and they're healthy, who the sorry, you're being a good parent and you're taking care of them.
Everyone has their own journey.
And that's what my mom always says. Like, you guys are surrounded with so much information, not just like with parenting, but just like in life. We're surrounded by so much information, you know, social media, and we're constantly comparing, seeing, researching, like making our own decisions, and like we're just inundated with so much information that it's like, it's hard. Like, you feel like we're doing such a bad job, you know. But my mom was like, just relax, you know, turn that off and just like remind yourself that you're doing good. You know, she said that to me because I was really nervous during my pregnancy. This was after our first miscarriage, and during Hui's pregnancy, we were very, very like anxious throughout his pregnancy, because we're like, oh my gosh, what if something happens? And like, when you're pregnant, you do like multiple ultrasounds and even like, you know, anatomy scans. And like during those scans, like technology is so good that you can literally spot everything, right? Like what's wrong, like in the womb. And there are like little things that came up, and I was telling my mom that I was so worried about them. And she was like, dude, when I was like pregnant with you guys, we didn't know anything. We just found out we were pregnant. And then at 40 weeks, we went in and had the baby. There was no room or like reason to be worried, you know? So you just kind of have to like, you know, set that aside and just trust that God is working in you, and that everything's going to be okay, you know? And I was like, you're right, Oma. We're like just so much information. You know?
So normally this is our Kangchu corner, but Grace says she doesn't have Kangchu, and we don't want to force our guests to come up with something, unless you do.
I mean, if anything, I have like an advice or like a word of encouragement.
So that's what I wanted you to do, actually. Like, for anyone who is a new mom or like a pursuing content creator, influencer, you know, like any advice and encouragement that you want to share with them.
Mike used to say this to me like while we're dating, and it's by Justin Bieber. Never say never.
Okay.
Never say never.
Like, I don't know, like for some reason when I was thinking about this Kangchu, like I was like, what can I say that I felt like can encourage or like in any kind of life stage that you're in. And I think Justin Bieber says it best. Never say never. You know, I never thought I would be going into content creating and doing this, but I am, you know, so never say never. Like, you just never know, you know. Even me being with Mike, it's like, that's why he kept saying it to me, like, never say never, because I'm with him now, you know, like, or just like even I used to want to be a doctor growing up, you know, and so I thought like my dreams are over because I couldn't be a doctor, but I'm a nurse now, you know, like there's always going to be like different paths, so you just never know. You just have to like go for it, you know, and Yeah, baby. Like, don't let anyone hold you back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
You yourself
Yeah,
is the
baby.
only one that can hold you back. You can do anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my little ganggangju.
So empowering.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Grace, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're so great. You're
Yeah.
such a natural.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
had
So
the
fun.
humor, we had the 감동, you know, with the feels.
Yeah.
And then
The
you know-
mom rage.
Yeah, the mom rage. That was real.
That was real. Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for sharing your story. You know, like
Thanks
so
for
many
having
things.
me.
Yeah.
I was so nervous, but
Really?
then like 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, we're just talking. Like we're like
Yeah.
girlfriends talking. So
Yeah.
it felt very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you like ease into the, you know, the vibe of Honey Jam.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
guys
you
are so
have to
good.
drop your socials.
Yes.
Mama G, 3 A's underscore G.
Mom 3 8 at the end or in the
No, in the
in the
Mama.
Mama G.
No, in the end.
At the
Oh,
end.
Yeah.
Mama G.
Mama G.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Please
Mama
follow
G.
Mama G.
Yeah.
And Tiffany. What's Tiffany's TikTok?
I think it's just Tiff Kim.
Tiff Kim
Yeah.
on TikTok. She has a lot
And
of
then
good
my
content.
husband,
Michael
Michael
Ryu.
Ryu.
Thank you guys again for joining us. And thank you, Grace. We had such a good conversation with our Annie. But yeah, if you guys can follow us and like all of
Support
our
us.
posts, support us, that would be so appreciated. Thank you guys. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.